Welcome to the Deep Dive, where we take your sources and really unpack the most important nuggets of knowledge and insight. Today we're diving into a deeply tragic and, well, complex story that's unfolded in Minnesota. We're drawing from recent reports by People and CNBC. Our mission today is to explore the layers of this event, the personal impact, the unfolding investigation, and also some unexpected twists that have emerged. You might have seen headlines about this, but we're going to try and go beyond the surface, really understand what's been happening. Okay, let's unpack this.
Yeah, this deep dive really highlights the profound impact public events can have on personal lives and just how quickly a story can evolve with new details, some of which are, well, quite unusual, as you said. We'll be looking at how all these pieces fit together and, what questions they raise.
So we begin with the tragic news itself. Minnesota Representative Melissa Hortman and her husband, Mark Hortman, they were shot and killed on Saturday, June 14th.
A terrible event.
And it was quickly identified by Governor Tim Walz as a politically motivated assassination, which, that immediately tells us we're dealing with something far beyond just a random act of violence.
Absolutely. And what's fascinating here is how quickly that narrative, that politically motivated aspect, took shape. It provides this crucial lens, doesn't it, through which to understand everything that followed.
Yeah, it really frames it. And then, hearing directly from their children, Sophie, who's 28, and Colin, 30, that adds such a different dimension. They released this powerful statement on Monday, June 16th. People obtained it. And this is where it gets, well, really interesting, hearing their voice. They expressed being devastated and heartbroken, describing their parents as the bright lights at the center of our lives, and noting their boundless love. Just incredibly moving words.
It is. So personal.
They also wanted everyone to know they were safe with loved ones, grateful for the support, but asking for privacy. It really puts a human face on the tragedy, doesn't it? Amidst all the, the political framing.
It absolutely does. This immediate and deeply personal response, it really sets the emotional tone for understanding the full scope of what happened. It grounds it.
Okay, let's talk about the investigation. The swiftness of law enforcement's response is another key part of this. There was a 2-day manhunt that led to the arrest of Vance Bolter on Sunday night, June 15th.
Pretty quick work. If we connect this to the bigger picture, the speed of the arrest really is a testament to coordinated efforts, which, as you mentioned, the children themselves acknowledged in their statement.
Right. Now, Bolter, he's been charged with 2 counts of second-degree murder, 2 counts of second-degree attempted murder. But it doesn't stop there. Federal prosecutors also charged him.
Oh, really?
Yeah, with stalking and murdering the Hortmans, and also stalking and shooting Minnesota State Senator John Hoffman and his wife, Yvette Hoffman.
Wow, so multiple targets.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And the sources tell us Bolter allegedly impersonated law enforcement to gain entry into the Hortmans' home.
That tactic, it's chilling, really speaks to a calculated approach, doesn't it?
It does.
And this raises an important question. What was the scope of this individual's intentions? If he was targeting others. The reports indicate Bolter also visited the homes of 2 other Minnesota lawmakers that same Saturday morning.
You others?
Yeah, with the intent to kill them. That's what the reports say. And we also learned that Senator Hoffman's wife, Yvette, incredibly, threw herself in front of their daughter to protect her during the attack on them.
Oh my goodness.
The prosecutor even stated Bolter stalked his victims like prey, and that he had a manifesto, apparently, with a list of names. So it really points to a broader, targeted pattern, not just isolated.
And, just adding to the heartbreak, the family dog, Gilbert, was also killed in the attack at the Hortman home.
Awful.
The children specifically thanked law enforcement for their swift action that saved others, they said, and also for the heroic attempts to rescue our mom and dad. It's clear they recognize the danger involved.
That acknowledgement is powerful.
Now, just when you think you've sort of grasped the contours of this terrible story, a surprising detail emerged. 3 days after the murders, on Tuesday night, June 17th, the Hortmans' home was broken into.
Wait, after the murders, after the scene was secured?
Exactly. Discovered the next morning, Wednesday, June 18th.
Wow. What's fascinating here is the method described. Plywood covering a rear window had been pried off, and the window broken to get inside. And the home appeared to have been searched.
Searched. But here's a critical detail from the family. They don't believe anything is missing.
Nothing missing.
That's what they believe. And police also confirm that, quote, all evidence related to the homicides had been collected before this break-in happened.
Okay, so
So what does this all mean? What was the point of this break-in?
That's the million-dollar question, isn't it? It raises a huge question about the motive behind this second incident. If nothing was taken and the initial evidence, the forensic evidence, had already been secured,
Right.
it prompts speculation, you know? What was the intent behind searching the home? Were they looking for something specific? Documents? Something else?
Yeah.
It's a really unsettling layer to add to an already devastating event. Very strange.
Despite all this trauma, though, the Hortman children really focused on their parents' legacy. They said their parents touched so many lives and left an incredible legacy of dedication to their community, and they encouraged the community to honor their parents' memory with these incredibly specific, beautiful acts. Did you see this list?
I did. It was quite something.
For Mark and Melissa, they suggested things like planting a tree, visiting a local park, petting a dog. A golden retriever is ideal, apparently, but any dog will do, man.
They had nice touch.
Telling a cheesy dad joke and laughing, baking something, bread for Mark or cake for Melissa and sharing it, trying a new hobby, and standing up for what you believe in, especially justice and peace. It just feels like such a powerful, personal roadmap for how to respond to grief like this.
It really does. This is where you see, I think, the human spirit striving for meaning, even in the face of just profound loss. And their closing message is particularly poignant. Hope and resilience are the enemy of fear. They called for people to come together, hold your loved ones a little closer, love your neighbors, and treat each other with kindness and respect. They believe the best way to honor their parents is to do something, whether big or small, to make our community just a little better for someone else.
That's powerful.
It really is. And it raises this important question, doesn't it, about how we collectively respond to targeted acts of violence, especially those with, perceived political motivations. Their response is, well, it's about connection, not division.
And it's also worth noting, just briefly, that Melissa Hortman herself had this personal connection to advocacy. She pushed for an ALS cure after her own father lost the ability to speak because of the disease. It just highlights that dedication they mentioned.
Okay. Adds more context to her legacy.
So we've navigated a truly heavy, but I think important deep dive today. Moving from this shocking tragedy to the ongoing investigation, that really unexpected break-in. And finally, to this profound message of hope and resilience from the heart of the family. Hopefully you've now gained a much clearer picture of the details reported, the people involved, and the broader context of these events.
Yeah, this story, with its blend of intense personal loss and these wider public implications, it really compels us to reflect, to think about how individuals and communities respond to such intense challenges. And the children's call for those specific acts of kindness and community engagement, it offers such a powerful counter-narrative to the violence they endured. It's about choosing hope.
So wrapping this up, what does this all mean for you listening? Considering the depth of this loss, the frankly chilling nature of targeted violence, what does the Hortman children's call for hope, for resilience, for community action? What does that truly mean? For how we approach fear and division in our own lives, in our own communities. It's a powerful thought to mull over, and perhaps maybe something to act upon.